The New York Times is as stunned as we are as to why the UCLA football team can't draw flies to the Rose Bowl. Matthew Stafford is performing a medical miracle by rehabilitating his brain. And the Dodgers might be out of one of their top relievers for all of 2023. Hi, I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is Faithful Angelino's Morning Report. It's November 12th, 2022. It's a glorious Saturday morning, and yes, we should all enjoy this glorious Saturday morning. But before we go around doing that, what do you say we talk a little LA sports? If you like the content that we put out, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. I am not perfect. I totally can take criticism or even the occasional pat on the rear. Before we go through the news and notes, take a quick look at the scoreboard last night at the Coliseum. Great final score for USC, but some bad news. Travis Dye, their leading running back, he might have a knee injury. It's pretty much going to end his college football career. Having said that, 8th-ranked USC 55, Colorado 17. There is a rapid recap of that game on the USC playlist. Meanwhile, Anthony Davis scores 24 points, grabs 14 rebounds. Didn't matter. Sacramento 120, Lakers 114. LA is 2-10 so far this year. Also, Tiger Campbell scores 18 points, leading the 8th-ranked UCLA basketball team to a 93-69 victory over Long Beach State. Today, Arizona is at the Rose Bowl to take on UCLA. That game is at 7:30 p.m. The 9th-ranked Bruins, you can get a preview of that game on the UCLA playlist. Brooklyn this afternoon will take on the LA Clippers at 1. The Nets, let's just be real, that's a weird team. They've already fired the coach. Ben Simmons is coming off the bench, and that other guy. That need not be discussed. By the way, Detroit will take on the Kings at 7:30. LA is 9-6-1, but a fun fact, they've still allowed more goals than they've scored. So, are you like me? Do you just enjoy watching both USC and UCLA this year, right? The Bruins are 8-1, and yet they are on pace to have the worst attendance since the team moved to the Rose Bowl. Crazy how they can't draw squat. The average through 6 home games is just 36,241 fans. The New York Times saw the photos that people were posting on social media where it basically looked like they were trying to hold a Pop Warner game in the granddaddy of them all stadium. It was so blank out there. So they sent a reporter out and they ran the numbers. Apparently, only a sellout against USC in the rivalry game next week will keep the Bruins from having an all-time low attendance mark at the Rose Bowl. And it makes it crazy is they went and they illustrated the depths that it takes to try to get asses in the seats to watch a damn fine football team. Take a look at the Bruins from a couple of years ago. In 2019, they played Oklahoma. A real draw. Not to UCLA, they handed out 39,000 free passes. Last year, they beat LSU. 29,000 freebies were handed out. How the hell did I not get free season tickets just from having a craptacular YouTube channel? Somebody riddle me that. And to me, the even worst part of these numbers that are being crunched by the New York Times is how indicative it is of the entire athletic department and the financial problems that they've been having. Football is the cash cow. I recognize that UCLA is synonymous with college basketball excellence. John Wooden, a tremendous run throughout the 70s and 80s. Everybody still remembers the man, but it's still about the football team. And the UCLA athletic department, we've been chronicling their financial problems. They were $100 million in the hole, which precipitated them joining USC in the move to the Big Ten. Remember the multi-million-dollar deal that UCLA signed with Under Armour that fell apart, and they had to sue the shoemaker. Well, they got some money back from Under Armour, but then the athletic department signed with Nike. How much damage has UCLA had to its reputation? Nike gives them $500,000 every year. That is a $10 million loss in revenue each and every year. And then you're sitting there going, well, what is UCLA doing? Marketing reps are going to season ticket holders. They are sending them blue roses to keep them in the fold. They're sending them even more free tickets. They are getting automated robocalls from Troy Aikman thanking them for continuing to be a part of the program. Now, I have to tell you, these are depths to this is a Power 5 conference team, and a good one. So I appreciate them the Times illustrating just how big of a hole financially UCLA has been dug into. The one problem I had with the story, they didn't offer any solutions. They didn't go to a marketing guy and say, hey, how would you solve this? They didn't go to a financial expert. They just sat there, pointed at the problems, and laughed their little East Coast bias asses off. Complete the topic, journos. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford has been updated to questionable Sunday when the Rams play the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I don't know how you rehab your brain. The guy's been in the concussion protocol literally since only Wednesday, and apparently right now he can solve Rubik's Cubes with his eyes closed. His brain is functioning so high. Now, he was limited in practice Friday. Of course, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but having said that, the decision on whether or not he can play might not be made until about an hour before the kickoff. There is other good news for the Rams, though. Guard Coleman Shelton and running back Kyron Williams have been activated. Coach Sean McVay says both of them will play Sunday. And if you want a preview of the Rams matchup against the Cardinals, look to the preview on the Rams playlist on this channel. Dodgers relief pitcher Blake Trinan has had shoulder surgery, and you're sitting there saying, well, so what? A lot of athletes have shoulder surgery. Not so. He might not be available all of next year. He had 2 surgeries in one. One was to repair the labrum in his pitching shoulder, and the other one was to repair his rotator cuff. Side note to everybody with shoulder problems, when you go to the doctor, please do not call it a rotary cup or rotocup. If there's one thing I can tell you now that I work in healthcare that just drives me up the wall is when people try to talk medical terminology. It is a rotator cuff. People just try to talk medicine and they don't. I had one guy once, he comes up and goes, yeah, I got low testosterone because my prop stain hurt. Low testosterone because your prop stain hurt. Let me just give you a fistful of Viagra to solve that, bro. Use your heads, guys. Just point to where it hurts. Doc, I don't know why. It just hurt. Just do that, will you? That's my own problem, I guess. Good news for the Dodgers, though. We had mentioned how they were trying to negotiate a new deal with Clayton Kershaw. Apparently, they have a deal in place. Now, if you take a step back from having all the feels and you say, okay, what is the Dodgers pitching rotation like next year? It's going to be Kershaw, Julio Urias, Tony Gonsolin, Dustin May, and a manager who has no idea how to use them in the playoffs. So there's that. Chargers coach Brandon Staley described the process of cutting defensive lineman Jerry Tillery, and when he did, it sounded like he was trying to write a rough draft for a relationship book. We don't need this in the NFL, guys. We don't. Quote, there's a point in relationships like this where you've got to move on. And it's best for both people to just move on, unquote. Translation, Brandon's from Mars, Jerry's from Venus. We didn't need to know this. The timing of the whole cutting of Jerry Tillery did seem weird, though, wouldn't you say? I mean, the Bolts, they lose Austin Johnson for the year. You figured Tillery might get some more snaps, and then it turns out there's friction, and he's out of a job. Coach, just say there was friction, and he's out of a job. We'll understand. That's literally all we need to know. In the future, if you have to do transaction news, try not to listen to the music of Lana Del Rey before you meet the press. Can you swing that for us? Also for the Bolts, wide receivers Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are out. You can find out other information about the Chargers versus the 49ers by looking to the preview that's been posted on the Chargers playlist. Kawhi Leonard of the Clippers is participating in 5-on-5 drills. Coach Tyronn Lue said Leonard, quote, still has a way to go, unquote. Now, a beat writer for The Athletic said that the situation with Kawhi reminds him a lot of Marcus Morris's return from chronic knee issues. If you are a Clippers fan, you might recall at the start of the 2021 season, LA shut him down, Morris, that is, 2 games in to the season. Morris was out a month, came back, no problem since. And that sounds great until you realize Kawhi Leonard had knee surgery, Marcus Morris didn't. It's not totally analogous, guys. It's not. Meanwhile, for the Lakers, Lonnie Walker IV returned to the team. He missed the last 2 games due to illness, but he came in just in time for that 10th loss. MLS had an expansion draft yesterday for a new team, St. Louis City. They got to choose a number of players from all the other teams. They selected 5 players. None of them came from the LA Galaxy or LAFC. And that's a good thing, because I wouldn't wish living in St. Louis on an enemy. What a racist hellhole. What a dystopian, craptacular landscape that city is. I wouldn't wish it on any of you guys, straight up. But you let me know what you think about this stuff in the comments thread. We had a pretty decent day with some of the notes around here. If you like the content that we put out, if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We do talk LA sports here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back later today. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.